Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, hi, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras of the Ferris Group, one of our sponsors, and they're a business advisory and management company providing outsourced services for businesses of all kinds. And to learn more about it, check out the website at www.ferrisgroup.com. That's PHARUS group.com, or call them directly at 772-223-3344. And Treasure Coast Connector is a show that puts a spotlight on local business owners so we learn why they started their business and what makes their products and services so unique and special. Today, we're going to be talking about a very unique real estate aspect of law and closings, and that is digital real estate closings. And to discuss this with me is Jordan Lulich of Lulich Attorneys and Consultants, and they're located in Sebastian and Vero Beach, Florida. Their office number is 772-589-5500. I'm going to mention it again because when we learn about digital real estate closings, you're going to want to talk to Jordan. So welcome. It's a pleasure having you here today.
Hey, Ellen. Thank you for having me back. It's always great to be on your show, and we always have a real good time.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
That's right.
And you always give great information about things, and we're going to dive into that in a moment. But the first thing, everybody is going to want to know, why did you want to become an attorney, and what made you join your father's practice?
It's an interesting question. So, imagine this, Ellen. Imagine at 5 years old, you're sitting around a dining room table, and you're actively engaging in these conversations that are probably the conversations of a person having an education of 18 years old. So from a very young age, it was instilled in me to argue back, to identify issues, but more importantly, to come to a conclusion and analyze how I got to that conclusion. So from at 5 years old, I watched my dad, who is a lawyer. He's been on the show, and you know him as well. And I've watched him, and he taught me that when I got to law school, it was second nature for me, that I was already ahead of the game because I was learned to think like a lawyer from a very young age. So I graduated law school, I passed the bar, and I applied, and I was considering my different options. I had a few different job offers, and I sat down with my dad, and I really had a serious conversation about it. And at first, I'm not going to lie, I was skeptical. But honestly, and sometimes people are surprised, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And why? Because there's an added layer of trust. So I was able to do things, and I'm still able to do things with him, where people who I graduated with weren't able to do that until 2, 3, 4 years in a practice, because I had that layer of trust with him. So I think looking back on it, it was one of the best decisions I made in my life.
Oh, very good. You were groomed from a young age, and I'm sure that if your father was here today, he would say, I taught him at a too young of an age. He was too smart, too young, and I was exhausted by the time he hit 18. I'm sure he would say that.
He was ready for me to go. He's like, okay.
Yes. Yeah, and go off to college and then
I went
come
to
back.
Tallahassee, So I went to Florida State University for my undergrad and for my law school. So go Noles, if there's any Noles out there. One of the best things was coming back to Sebastian and Vero Beach. I went to school in Vero Beach. I grew up in Vero Beach. And it's awesome seeing these people I haven't seen for 5 or 10, 15 years. And now I'm doing business with them. It's so satisfying versus, the alternative of being in a different town, making new connections, that I'm actually helping the community where I grew up. And it's awesome to come back and see all the changes along the way that's been made.
A lot of economic development professional people are always saying we want to send off our kids to get a great education and we want them to come back. So you came back, and that's wonderful. And then in June, when we were chatting about you coming on, again, in July or May it was, I'm sorry. So you mentioned digital real estate closings. And when you said that, I never knew that there was such a thing. And I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that have never heard of this because it's new-ish. So what is a digital real estate closing?
And it's funny, I start talking about real estate law. And, I'm younger, and people look at me, they're like, okay, this young guy, this young lawyer, he's lecturing about real estate law. But then I start talking about digital real estate closing, and it's something that honestly, Ellen, people are scared to start doing. Older people in the industry, which there are a lot of older people in this industry in the area, they're scared to start experimenting because it has to do with technology. Well, as someone who's younger, it's like second nature for me. It's a lot easier. So it provides an advantage dealing with someone where it comes easier. But recently, the legislature passed a law in Florida, and it implemented, starting January 1st, a bill that's called the Remote Online Notarization.
Okay.
So what this bill does is it gives the ability for two things to happen in Florida. The first thing is digital real estate closings, and the second things are all online wills. So what it does is it allows buyers and sellers to purchase or to sell a home, and they no longer have to be in the title company. They no longer have to be physically present with a notary. So starting January 1st, this is going to go into effect, and it's going to revolutionize Florida real estate economy. Now, it's already gone into effect in other states, and this is not new. Florida's joining along, and it's going to allow this. But have you heard of, let's say, Quicken Loans?
Yes.
And I'm not endorsing, I'm not talking negative, I'm just talking objectively for conversation here.
Yeah.
So have you heard, and so with Quicken Loans, you can be on your couch and go on quickenloans.com. You can apply for a mortgage, and you can literally go through the entire process of applying for a mortgage and obtaining a mortgage without ever meeting a loan officer. Right?
Wow.
So what the digital closing is, so now, right now, you can buy a car from your house, from your couch. You can apply for a mortgage from your couch, and now you can close on a home from your couch.
Oh, wow.
So what it's going to allow is people to FaceTime, video call in to a conference room, and to complete the entire transaction without ever having to go in.
That's amazing. That is, so that is definitely revolutionary for sure.
Yeah.
And so are you saying that it's not available just yet? You're going to, or you have started it already?
Right. So what we did is we started in mid-May, we started doing in-person digital closings. Okay. So there's a difference. What we're doing is kind of a step in between the traditional real estate closing and a remote online notarization closing. And for people who don't know, what a real estate closing is people come to our company, our title company, and we're an attorney-led title company. And as we talked before, Ellen, I'm always distilling this myth, right? People think that attorneys are more expensive when using them for a title company, and that's false. It's untrue. So constantly I'm having to distill this myth that we're more expensive.
Well, that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. And I'm going to continue to be here, and I'm going to continue to reinforce this idea. But people come to us to purchase or to sell a home. So when you sign a contract, a real estate contract, the next step after signing a real estate contract is you have to send it to a title company. That's us. We're an attorney-led title company. We receive the contract and we start preparing for closing. We order a title search. We start itemizing all the different fees and costs. We provide the sellers with the net amount that they're going to receive from closing. And then we have the people on closing day come to our office to sign the documents.
Okay.
Now, what we started doing in mid-May, and we're essentially what we're trying to do is prepare for this change in law starting January 1st. So the people come to our office, and we have a Surface Pro tablet that we use where people are no longer signing hard copy papers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What they're signing is a tablet.
Okay.
So we
do that at the bank. So
you do it at the bank. You do it for loan documents, and now you're doing it with our title company. Wow. So they come into our conference room. We put on this big projector, the documents. So it's transparent. We're not trying to hide anything. We explain all of the documents, and instead of signing a paper copy, they're signing the actual tablet. Wow. So what we're doing is we're taking a step in the direction to go paperless and to start to prepare for this remote online notarization bill that's going to be implemented in January 1st. So we're taking a step in the right direction. So we started to do that in May, and I would say by now we've probably done 15 to 20 digital real estate closings to date.
Oh, wow.
So starting January 1st, the only difference is going to be that they're not going to be present.
They're
going to be foreign. So it's going to allow people more convenience.
Yes.
And we're selling convenience, at a same or similar rate.
And you know what's interesting? I mean, I do like to joke around. People know this about me. So people are buying everything and anything off of different, Amazon and all the other online stuff. So the people that love that, you could be home. You can now buy a car. You could buy a house. And so if you want to do that from the privacy of your own home, all kidding aside, you need to talk to Jordan and his team at Lulich Attorneys and Consultants. Give them a call. 772-589-5500. Sneaking a peek at the clock. Okay, we're good. We can wait a minute before we take a break, because now that you mentioned the convenience factor, this is something else that I was thinking about when you said digital real estate closings is people who are investors. We have people that are all over the world and they want to buy and invest in real estate in Florida. So this is probably very convenient for them. Can they purchase homes and commercial properties, or is this just for homes?
Well, you got a few questions packaged in that one question.
Okay. Well, number one is commercial and residential. Okay.
So let me answer. First, you mentioned investors.
Yes, investors.
So I actually work with a real estate broker, and during the times of when the real estate economy was booming back in 2006, 2007, he was buying properties for an investor, and he was buying a large number of properties, probably a lot. Let's just say a lot.
Yeah.
And what he was having to do, Ellen, is his investors weren't in the U.S. They were in Germany. They were in France. They were in Cayman Islands. So for each property, he was getting on a plane. He was taking the paperwork to them. He was having a 2 or 3 day vacation, which isn't bad.
That's kind of fun. I like
That's not bad, right?
Okay, yeah.
But he would, talking about not convenient, he was having to go to them and they had to incur these additional costs to buy these investment properties. So for him, that would have been perfect for working with his investors, because they pay less money. They can use this software to close on the transaction, and they can do it right from poolside in Venezuela or wherever they may be.
Very cool. Very nice. So now what about, properties? What types of properties can or can't be purchased this way?
So all properties will be able to purchase this way, but I guess it's more a complex question what you asked, because if there's a loan involved, it's going to be determined upon what the lender wants. And after the break, I'll tell you a little bit more about that.
Okay, very good. So we were just prompted by Cindy, the amazing radio show producer, to take a break. Obviously, Jordan and I really enjoyed chatting, and we're going to be right back to talk a lot more about digital real estate closings when Treasure Coast Connector returns.
Waldo's, since 1947, has been serving up lunch and dinner with the best ocean view on the Treasure Coast. But we bring you more than that. We are also the premier location for musicians to showcase their talents on our outdoor bandstand. You can find our band schedule by visiting our new and improved website, historicwaldos.com. That's historicwaldos.com. So come join us beachside and enjoy a day or evening at Waldo's, located in the historic Driftwood Resort on Vero's Beach.
ITEX, or International Trade Exchange, is the largest barter company in the world, with over 25,000 members offering goods and services. We're a marketing company that brings you new business in the way of trade, with over 200 local members enjoying the benefits of ITEX, like lawyers, doctors, plumbers, media, printing, and more.
Hi, this is Liz Bowler. Contact me and find out why barter through ITEX has been smarter for over 30 years. 772-532-1881. Visit itex.com.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
The Red Onion Eatery has great food, draft and bottled beer, wine, and view. You can enjoy breakfast sandwiches or your plated egg favorites. How about their specialty sandwiches like lobster roll, crunchy grouper Reuben, their seafood, shrimp, scallop kebabs, ahi tuna on greens, crab poppers, and a variety of soups, salads, and a host of other sandwiches. Burgers, fries, and hot dogs too. From 8 to 8, the Red Onion is great. Full menu at redonioneatery.com. Red Onion Eatery, across the street from Humston Beach.
Welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras of the Ferris Group, one of our sponsors. And before the break, Jordan Lulich and I were talking about digital real estate closings, and he is with Lulich Attorneys and Consultants in Vero Beach and Sebastian. And their number is 772-589-5500. Make a note of this because I'm sure a lot of you are already thinking about digital real estate closings and how that can really help you. So before the break, Jordan, we were talking about investors. They're all over the world, and this is amazing. So that was going to be another question if somebody is somewhere else. So now you can help those people. Here's the other thought that I had is sometimes real estate transactions are complex because you'll have maybe more than one buyer or more than one seller. Or I'm thinking about the instances where maybe the parents are here and they need to sell, but the adult kids are living elsewhere. And they all have to be part of this. So let's talk about that from a convenience
So you're telling me, and it just so happens over the past couple of weeks, actually, I've had two different transactions. One transaction, there were 5 different beneficiaries, right? So that means someone passed away, unfortunately. And there were people were inheriting the property. And they didn't want the property, so they put it up for sale. So imagine us, 5 different people, and digital closings don't exist yet. So you could just imagine the strategic planning and detailed that goes into making sure all those people coming to our office, and if they're not here, mailing those documents to them. Those people mailing them back. So we've had 2 transactions where there was 5 different beneficiaries and one there was 6 different beneficiaries. So we had to orchestrate this strategic plot to make sure that we facilitate the transaction in a smooth way. But talking about complexity, it's crazy. So you hit it on the. I can't believe you asked this question.
See, I was just, you know what it is that when you mentioned digital real estate closing, I put myself in the shoes of like the buyer and the seller, and I was thinking of these questions, and I'm glad that you like them because normally we talk about them beforehand, but we didn't really have that much of a chance this time. But so that is cat herding at a very high level. I like to, I'm very funny. I'm only kidding. So, but in all seriousness, so the technology, is there. But now, do you also have to be on the phone at all with anybody? I'm thinking of this from my own standpoint.
You're trying to conceptualize it. So how it works is just like your phone or FaceTime call, right? You've done a FaceTime call. So within a FaceTime call, you've got the video, you've got the audio, it's all in one. So just like the software, whether it be on your phone or whether it be on a computer, the video, the audio, they're all necessary. But one of the things that a lot of people were criticizing and before the bill was passed was the security measures that were in place.
Oh, true.
Right?
Sure.
Because the real estate industry, it's susceptible to lots of fraud. So the legislators were very concerned when they proposed this bill and when they drafted it that the security measures were in place to prevent fraud, because people are making the largest investments of their life when they purchase real estate. So we take this very seriously. So when they drafted it, it's really cool, and maybe sometime I'll have to show you, but you log on to this site, you put in your details, and then a web camera pops up, right? Whether it be your phone or your computer, and you go into it, and then you can see your picture yourself. But before you can get started with the closing, what happens is a series of security measures are in place. So have you ever done like an application where you it asks you like different questions, like what street have you lived on, or what mortgage do you hold a bank with? Well, what the software we use, it's called notarization. They've implemented a similar type of security questions that they have to go through. After which you have to take out your identification, you have to hold it up to the camera, and it actually scans the card to make sure it's a real ID and it's not a fake ID. Because we have all the time, we have people posing to be someone that they're not in order to try to sell or buy real estate transactions.
So scary.
So I really have to commend the Florida legislator, and I have to commend that these software companies, that they've done an amazing job in making sure that there's a secure way to vet out all those fraudulent people and making sure it's a safe option. So It's really cool, and it allows, like we were talking about before, it allows for commercial deals, residential deals. It doesn't matter. But what we've started to notice is since implementing this in May, just digital, we've started to know that the industry it's slowly catching on. It's not there yet. So what we do for every single deal, we're calling up the banks and we're asking them, hey, can you guys close a deal digitally? And guess what the answer is most of the time?
Nope. You
would think that they'd be like incentivized to start, but they're slowly starting to catch on. I can name probably on one hand a number of lenders that will close a transaction digitally. And I'm not even talking about remotely. I'm just talking about in our office with a tablet. So most of the transactions that we're closing are cash deals where there's no lender involved. So I guess to come back around and answer your question, I tend to do that. Like I tend to go on these little, but to come back around and to answer your question, it really depends upon the lender because the lenders have certain requirements, whether it be maybe they don't permit an FHA loan or they do permit a VA loan. It's really going to depend upon which lender you're using and what their requirements are. Because it's a risk standpoint. They have to analyze the loan and they have to see how much risk they take. And it's a foreign concept for them because especially when I started, there was so much focus on that wet blue signature on that piece of paper. And I'm like, why do we need a wet signature? Like we're starting to e-record, meaning we don't actually send in the original documents to the recording. We're starting to we don't have paper files anymore. Like why is there so much focus on this wet signature? Well, there's not going to be as much as soon as the lenders start to catch on because their biggest thing is there's this one-page document in a mortgage. And it's probably one of the single most important documents when you apply for, when you out of the documents you sign at closing, and it's called a note. And in the note, if Ellen is purchasing a piece of property with a bank, you're signing this note and you say, I promise to pay this loan at this interest rate over this amount of years. Well, courts want to see if there's ever subject to litigation, which hopefully there's not, but if there's ever subject to litigation, courts want to see that original signed wet signature note. But now there's this step forward that we're taking and lenders are unsure of how it's going to come about. So we're starting to see court decisions. We're starting to see cases where they are tested, and all the time they're saying they're valid, that the security measures are in place, and there's no questions asked about the authenticity of those notes.
Well, very good. I can't believe I have to sneak a peek at our time, and we're running out of time. So I just want to make sure that I get in one last very quick question, and then we're going to make sure that people know how to contact you. So the question is cost. Is there a difference in cost? Is it going to cost the same or?
So the cost, let's take, for instance, I think this is the prime example of someone who would use this. Someone who's up north.
30 seconds.
Someone who's up north purchasing a home and can't come down. So they have to send a FedEx to us. We have to send a FedEx to them for that same cost of around $50 additional. Then they can do a digital closing.
Wow.
So it literally covers the cost of sending FedEx.
That is brilliant. Wonderful. So I can't believe that we are almost out of time, and we even had 2 questions, but we're going to put those 2 questions over to the next time because Jordan and hopefully your father, they're going to come back again next month to talk lots more about the different practice areas that they cover. Jordan, in your own words, tell everyone how they can connect with you directly. 772-589-5500 is our office number. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or www.lulich.com. Thanks for having us, Ellen. Yes, I am so glad that you were here again, and we're going to talk a lot more about other things next month. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me and Jordan on this episode of Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras of the Ferris Group, one of our sponsors, business advisory and management company that provides outsourced services for all types of businesses. Check out the website and learn more, www.ferrisgroup.com, PHARUSgroup.com. Call them 772-223-3344. I hope everyone has a wonderful and productive week. Thank you for joining us.